Hi bookish friends, it's Em and welcome back to another episode of Read and Ready. This is a series where we get ready together and have a bookish discussion. Whether it's just a chat, just some thoughts, some theories, or even just a full-blown review. We can also have a discussion in general form, like what's happening in the community, how I've been reading or what I've been loving. So yeah, it's always a fun time here. This is editing M, just editing this video and figuring out that I haven't shot a intro video. So I'm doing it right now while I'm also getting ready. And a little bit of disclaimer, if you haven't watched the previous Read and Ready, this is also gonna be about Alchemy of Secrets. So this video will be more of a full-blown review. So if you guys haven't watched the previous Read and Ready, I would highly suggest you doing that because there are some thoughts that I still stand for and some of the theories that I came up with while reading the book. We'll discuss that, have a little comparison if it actually happened or if we still haven't seen what's gonna happen with that. And we will also have theories about future books in this video. So yeah, let's jump into the video and thank you for watching. Okay, so let's start with what I rate the book because I feel like that's quite important as well. I would give it like 5.5 out of 5 stars because it's just that good. Take it with a grain of salt because I did just come out of a very long reading slump. Like I did read throughout the year, but it's never been something that feels joyful to me where this experience has changed and hopefully this will get me back to reading. But I feel like it's such a good book and it's such a solid first book as well. Like I would dare say that you can even read this as an individual book, even if you don't want to continue onto the second book. Some things are wrapped up quite nicely. They did give some explanation. Is there room for other books in the series? Definitely. But again, I feel like this is such a good full-fledged book and hands down one of the best fantasy read I've had this year. And we're just gonna start getting ready. If you want to get ready with me, go do that. It can be like a little girly chat, get ready together, but you can also grab a snack, grab a drink, because we are in for a ride. I'm gonna spray my face first. Also, I've been wondering if you guys want this to be more on the bookish side or do you want to also know about some product that I've been loving. If you guys are interested, I can start mentioning what product I like, what product I would technically recommend. Not a full-fledged like beauty reviewer, but you know, I just use it for myself and I thought that would be fun to chat about as well. Okay, let's jump into what I think of the book like as a whole, and this will be more on the spoiler side. So if you guys haven't read the book, maybe my first and second video would be like a safer option, but if you are interested and you do want to know more about this book to convince you whether you want to read or not, you've been warned, okay? Again, this book is part fantasy, part mystery with a lot of clues. And like I said previously, I feel like it's such a good move of Stephanie Garber to include some of the actual clues. I don't actually remember what part of the book. Oh, okay, I found it. So on chapter 28, she did find out about her father unmade manuscript, like it was never made into a movie. And this was basically the basis of a lot of the clues that we found on the book. And I feel like that's an amazing concept of showing rather than telling. We get to actually see the book, and if you do want to pay more attention to like the little details, yes, we do need a bit of a hint to discover like what the clues actually meant, where it goes, but you are also given the chance to do your little detective deduction skills. And every time like she comes up with a new clue, the basis is still here. She can come back to this manuscript and there would be new hints that she rediscover. Whereas again, like I said in the previous videos, I'm gonna sound like a broken record because I keep saying it, but I feel like it's a genius move because we are being part of the story. Like some books, I'm not like bashing on any book. This is just what came to mind. Sometimes they would just include like a little paragraph of the first clue and then next time they would include another paragraph, like a different one, to show like, oh, this one is what we're talking about. So they're actually, you know, force feeding you, where this feels more organic in a sense. I love how we get to be introduced to a lot of different characters in the beginning. Like some books, you get more and more and more character as the book progresses, but it's actually quite smart to introduce a lot of different people in the first book. It feels like a bigger world, like the world building is just so beautiful. Stephanie Garber did leave a lot of room to breathe and move for the second book. She did leave a lot of things vague, like for example, what actually happened to Gabe's wife, because we never actually found out. We just heard that he might have killed his wife. We don't know his explanation. Have never met January, the sister. We'll talk about that in the theories part of the book, because I actually thought that we would be able to meet her, but we never met her at all. We get introduced to new characters in the end as well, which builds the hype, the interest, the intrigue for the second book, which hopefully will come soon enough because I can't wait. Bringing back my point that I mentioned earlier, this book is full-fledged enough that if you want to read it as a single book, you still can, because it wraps up the story in the end. The major part of why certain things happen, like the mystery, for example, her nosebleed, who actually wanted to kill her, is answered in the end. Is it an accurate answer? Like, would there be another side to the explanation? Would there be another story that we haven't seen? Yes, and that could be explained in the second book. But for now, it feels solid. It's not a crazy cliffhanger like what I thought it would, because if you read other Stephanie Garber books in the past, it always feel like a cliffhanger. It always feel like you want to like grab the next book straight away. And I feel like with an adult debut, this is such beautifully done. But again, I love Stephanie Garber writing. I love Stephanie Garber books. I like how she portrays her character, more so in this book, because I've always found more young adult main female character to be more on the annoying side. And this, I found her absolutely just realistic, agreeable. I would definitely want to be friends with her, which I think is an amazing thing to have in your character. I also feel like even though this is written in third person point of view, the way she draws you in, it feels like you're actually living in the world. It feels like you're getting to know the characters along with her, getting to know the world, getting to understand what the rules and how things work are. So I feel like it's a great writing style. The thing about the introduction of each legends and myth, because this book is based on like a few different legends and myth, you're getting told of each story in like a little chapter where it's technically as if you're in the actual class, because they use the word you. You do get to actually immerse yourself in the class. So it's quite interesting to introduce each legend that way. Whereas if we get introduced to a legend through, let's say, a written book, and then next time we get told, so it doesn't flow as beautifully. So it's actually quite interesting. So I'm gonna read like a passage from the first chapter, which is Folklore 517, the introduction of like the class that the professor teaches. One of the passage is, you were unaware they used to sell cigarettes in theaters, but for a moment you can smell the smoke and popcorn. You can almost taste the butter too, but you don't linger in the lobby. There's only one theater, one attraction that you wish to find, and you walk directly towards it. So you understand, like, it actually uses the word you, so you actually feel like you're in the book, if that makes any sense. Let's talk about this cover. I feel like this cover is so gorgeous. This is the UK cover from Gaulands as well. I don't like the US cover. I usually don't like a lot of US covers, so I feel like I'm glad I got this one. And I've been reading more on my Kindle. I've been listening to a lot of audiobook. So this has been the first time that I read a lot of the chapter in book. Yes, I still utilize my Kindle, especially at night, because I don't know why, it just feels more relaxing and it makes me sleepy quicker if I read it to my Kindle. So it's been quite a fun experience to read a book again, and how they changed the font a bit on the manuscript, on like articles is quite interesting, and it makes it more immersive as well. That's enough rambling for my bookish thought. Let's go into the theories, and I feel like this will be the most fun aspect of this book, but we also need to start getting ready. So I am going to actually get ready a bit. I have my notes out in case I miss something, because I want to make sure that this is where all of my thoughts, my theories, my comparison will be. I rewatch all my old clips, like the first and second episode, to make sure whatever theories I said, I actually included in this, and I can actually bring it back, see if I was right, if I was wrong, and what happened in the book, what other theories can I come up with, and let's have a discussion on that. Please let me know what you actually think will happen next on the comment down below, and we can have a discussion. Okay, let's talk about my past theories first. So past theories is that when I told you guys I am on Team Adam Bishop, I keep saying that I hope he ends up being a good guy, because I always had the inkling. Even before he said he was one of the devils in the past, I still feel like there's more to the story. So bad revelation on Adam. I feel like that's the elephant in the room, because if you watch my previous videos, you would know that I'm on Team Adam, and I'm quite biased about him. And we did actually found out that Adam's like this big bad wolf, but we still, I feel like, don't know 100% of the story. At least I'm hoping not. The thing about Holland, and I said this in a previous video as well, is that she is quite gullible and trusting. When Gabe told her not to trust Adam, she instantly think like, okay, I cannot trust Adam. I have to be wary of him. I have to not trust him 100%. And then when that girl in the bank told her not to trust Gabe, she instantly like, okay, Gabe is a bad guy. Gabe is bad. I cannot trust him. I have to be wary of him. And then when Adam said, you cannot trust his brother, she instantly said, like, okay, his brother is bad. La 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 la. And I feel like it's too trusting. She doesn't have a sense of wanting to question what other people say. She doesn't want to see why the reasoning the person would say. Like, everyone have different agendas. Everyone have different goals in the end. And people usually want to do whatever they can to achieve those goals. We don't actually know why Gabe and Adam don't like each other, but they are also competing for her, because they both want her to be with them to find the alchemical heart. So I feel like in that sense, yes, she is kind of annoying and childish in a way. And I feel like that's why I don't believe the ending 100% when Mason said that Adam's been running this and that and that. Because when you think about it, Mason was placed in the hotel by Adam. He locked him there. He made sure he cannot use his magic. He made sure he cannot leave the hotel. So why would he technically not lie so that Mason can get Holland to hate Adam and let him be free, which in the end, Holland did. Holland let him be free, he's alive again, and he can do whatever he wants. And we will talk about future theories on that. But yeah, we only ever found out the bad reasons on Adam through Mason, and we know that these brothers don't get along, so perhaps there's more reason. Again, yes, I know that he technically killed Holland. He technically stabbed her. But we also don't know why. We don't know if he's been told or he's been forced to do it. We don't know a lot of things about him, and we didn't get any explanation. And I feel like that's still an open door, a door being left ajar, and we would definitely find out more about that in the upcoming books, or at least I hope it will be explained, because that is a pretty big loophole. The next thing that I say multiple times, I think, both on like short for content and the last video of Read and Ready, was that the story is told from an unreliable narrator. Holland keeps getting this vision and keeps forgetting memories, that her mind might be altered somehow. And it's because of the time loop that she's keeping in. But again, this is the explanation that Mason has. Is it 100% accurate? We still don't know, because we don't have proof. It's just one person telling it. And he could be unreliable as well. He could only be saying this because he's trying to gain something, which is to get her to ask the alchemical heart to bring him back to life. So the visions and the memories of how she feels like she knows certain people from the past was because it was a past memory from the last few loops that she lived on before. And sometimes she doesn't get into the car with Gabe. Sometimes she meets Adam first and then she turns Adam into the bank. Whereas the actual timeline that we read here was that she turned Gabe in and then she teamed up with Adam. So it's like different stories all throughout. Like the different time loops sometimes have different main characters in them. I wish we will get a better explanation in the future books. Next would be my theory on January's involvement. We don't really know what January did or didn't do, like I said, because we haven't met her. Okay, let me put on sunscreen because I keep babbling and not actually getting ready. I still think there might be a chance that January might be on the bad side, because if we do believe in the end that Adam was actually the one who worked with January instead of Gabe, then means both of them were actually looking for the alchemical heart, or at least she was pointing Adam towards the path of January's twin sister Holland. But since again this is all speculation because we still don't know where she was, who she was with, who she's actually partnering up with, and the only thing that we got to know with her was that in the beginning Holland called her sister. It sounded like she was on the street where in Europe where she was at. I think it was in Spain. It should have been midnight. So I feel like perhaps January wasn't in Europe. Perhaps she was also in Los Angeles, but I could be totally wrong. And then the next time that we found out about her was when at the end of the book, Holland said that January called her. But again, that could also not be January. That could be someone else using January's phone. So we have no clue about her. We will have to stay tuned and see where Stephanie Garber takes January character and when we actually will meet her. My reincarnation theory turns out to be false, because when I mentioned reincarnation theory was that how she recognized Adam like as if she knew her even though she never met him before. It's proven to be untrue because in the end we found out it's a time loop. We still don't know what set off the time loop, right? If it's simply because the alchemical heart wanted to make sure that Holland was the one who get to use it. And if so, wouldn't the Watchman be able to tell her something about a time loop? Again, I don't know, maybe I'm misinterpreting it, but I feel like if the Watchman is able to see the future in like multiple scenarios, like he said, because it's not definite, I feel like he should be able to know that it's a time loop, or maybe he's also don't want to tell her. And I just wish that we get to know more about this, more explanation, at least in the future book. I want to know if the time loop is set off because of what her father said, to send it to someone who doesn't want it but need it and might only use it once and then don't want to use it again. If what he said made the alchemical heart only thinks of Holland, and that's why the alchemical heart wants to make sure that Holland gets it, so it sets off the time loop. And if so, would Holland sending it into the future with the same instruction, meaning she's setting up another time loop for someone in the future? I feel like that would be quite interesting to explore. And I want to know if the alchemical heart only can see one probability, or because when you leave it vague, right? When you say like someone who needs it but doesn't want it, only wants to use it once, it might not be just one person. Because apparently the alchemical heart have dates written somewhere, like it was explained in the class as well, right? That's why everyone is trying to find this thing that no one knows what it looks like, because the date was set. So if the date was set, maybe perhaps that would mean that the alchemical heart knows that Holland needed to use it. I feel like there's a lot of holes there that leads to different questions. Let's do future theories, and this is not just theories. I feel like this is something that I actually want to happen on the next book because one, I am curious, and two, I feel like it would be quite interesting to see in the next book. We still don't know if this is gonna end up being a trilogy, but if we follow how Stephanie Garber did it before, then perhaps it will be a trilogy. Okay, for future theories, I feel like January will definitely have to show up more. This is technically not a theory. Again, this is just something that I want to happen because I have so much question regarding January. Like where she was in the last book, who she was actually partnering up with, if she actually sent anyone to help Holland, or did both men lie? But I feel like if both men lied, then why did they came up with the same reason that January sent them to help Holland? I feel like they could have said something else. I wanted to know if she was actually sent clues from her father, or is it just intended for Holland? Because I feel like if it was intended for Holland, that makes sense because the alchemical heart only wanted Holland to use it. That's why there's time loop. But if January also got the same letter, that's why she knows that her sister is in danger, then perhaps there's two sets of clue, because the one that Holland got specifically said about holly bells in the uniform of the people in the bowling alley, if I'm not mistaken. So there should be something about JJ in January's little clues, and I'm kind of hoping, even though I feel like Caravel and then Legendary, Caravel told from Scarlet's point of view and then Legendary told from Tella's point of view was a bit weird. But I want to know more about January, and I want to see it from some of the chapters, at least from her point of view. If January wasn't sent clues, why? Could that perhaps be because the father saw into the future and saw that January was working for the bank? We still don't know why January is working for the bank, like how the connection is. I feel like that would be quite interesting to explore. On the second theory, we're going to talk about Holland's ability. Because if you know, in the end, she did ask for the alchemical heart to get an ability. And the alchemical heart said that an ability is not something that you get to choose. It's like an inactive part of you that will become activated, and it could take a few weeks. So I am wondering, like, what do you think would be Holland's ability? My theory is she's gonna get something that's not very practical, like not something that she can use every day, but also very powerful. Perhaps it's gonna be an ability to be able to read and decipher clues straight away. Or maybe an ability to see other people's ability, because Mason did say that he doesn't want to reveal and that Holland shouldn't reveal her ability to people, because that could make people want to use you, want to take advantage of you. And even Wilder thought maybe she can like absorb people energy, not like steal it, but like use it for a temporary second. That could be quite cool. Now, a misunderstanding. You guys should know where this is actually going. I am biased as hell because you know that I'm on team Adam Bishop. But again, like I said, what Mason said about Adam could perhaps not be 100% true. They don't like each other. They're literally rivaling to get the father's ability. And Adam trapped Mason in a hotel. We don't know for how long. So he definitely holds a grudge. And he purposely said to either kill Adam or trap him into the hotel. He didn't just specifically ask to be brought alive. He wanted to swap places with his brother. So I feel like Mason is just not 100% trustworthy. A lot of people start shipping them together, like Mason and Holland, because he said something along the line, "You don't know me, but I remember you." And when she asked why, it's because of you, because you keep dying. I feel like that's not romantic at all. I think that's quite psychopathic. Perhaps there is a chance that they're gonna end up together, but I hope not. I'm getting the vibe that perhaps I'm hoping that Mason's end up with January, even though we haven't met January at all and we only met Mason for a few chapters. Perhaps it's because I'm team Adam. Okay, and I feel like I wanted to say this for the longest time. I just keep forgetting. If you guys watched my previous video where I explore vintage bookstores, you would know that Rochelle Mead is one of my favorite authors when I was a kid. So I love both Vampire Academy and the Bloodline series. And Adam Bishop just reminds me so much of Adrian Ivashkov. Like, he doesn't care. He's like very tortured. He does weird things. Logical to him because he wants to help people. He wants to help the girl that he's in love with. But he also goes about it the wrong way. And he's so nonchalant. He drinks. He's a party boy. So perhaps I like Adam Bishop because of that. Okay, let's get back to the theory again. Yes, perhaps that Mason was not the devil that made deals with all of those people, because apparently Chance found a photograph of how everyone that died in a weird way that Holland thinks is because they made a deal with the devil. All of them were photographed with Adam, and also that the parents, Ben Tierney and Isla Saint, was pictured with Adam rather than with Mason. But again, if you keep reading, Holland did say they look similar, very similar. It's just that Mason looks colder and more unapproachable. So I feel like in photograph, it could just be entirely different person. Like it might only look like Adam. I don't know if I'm just ignoring all the red flags because I want Adam to end up with Holland. I feel like there would be more reveals in the future that perhaps Adam would also need to be brought back alive because Holland ended up needing his help. I feel like that's really possible. In Once Upon a Broken Heart, Evangeline ended up needing Jack's help even though she doesn't like him, even though she feels like he wants to kill her. I feel like that would be one of the character development arc that Adam would be in. My skincare has definitely marinated quite a bit, so now I want to put on concealer. Mason will definitely be a love interest because from the sheer amount of reaction online, but I hope this is not true. If there's one thing that I hate more about love triangles, it's love triangles with brothers. Did we not learn with Stefan and Damon from Vampire Diaries? Did we not learn from Conrad and Jeremiah from The Summer I Turned Pretty? Just don't think I can trust Mason just yet. I feel like he has his own agenda, and he did get his agenda in the end, that Holland used the alchemical heart to bring him back to life. So I just don't think that he's trustable yet. Again, because we don't know what he's up to, I feel like the fact that she brought him back to life is gonna bite her in the ass. Like it's very comparable to how like in Legendary, Jax, the Prince of Heart, was brought out of the cards and caused havoc, and then like our main character instantly regretted and wished they could put him back into the card. Like I feel like Holland would come to regret bringing Mason out of the hotel. Like it's very comparable to how like in Legendary, Jax, the Prince of Heart, was brought out of the cards and caused havoc, and then like our main character instantly regretted and wished they could put him back into the card. Like I feel like Holland would come to regret bringing Mason out of the hotel and him wreaking havoc into the world, because I feel like he's also the devil. Also, still don't know about what the ability that the bishop father had that the brothers was technically after, like what they wanted. I feel like that's it. That is my future predictions. If I have more predictions in the future, perhaps we'll just do a video on just more prediction and more thoughts on the book. But yeah, I am still trying to find more friends to discuss the book with, and I hope that through this video and through my past videos that a lot of people would be more inclined to want to read this, so we can band up together and wait together, discuss the book, and come up with fun theories. Because I like coming up with theories, but I'm not as detail oriented as I know some of you guys are. Like on BookTok, before A Curse of True Love came out, there was a lot of theories circulating around. So I am hoping that this book gets popular and that I get to have more discussion and we can anticipate the next books together. So today I'm not gonna do anything crazy, so I'm just putting on a base, which is technically just concealer and some eyebrow, because I did spend too much time rambling and not really putting on makeup, so I am a bit pressed on time. That is it on today's review, final thoughts, and future theories. I hope you guys have an enjoyable time doing this book discussion with me. Let's connect, because all my social is the same, like Get Lost with M, all on different platforms. And I hope to see you guys on future videos and future Read and Readies. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. See ya.